Okay, so we have completed the first three worksheets of the pen tool in Illustrator. And we're going to continue with the next three worksheets in Illustrator. Next one, number 4, we're going to do some different things. We're going to learn how to break the control handle and do some interesting things there. And then we're going to kind of learn how to break the control handle, then also go back afterhand and use one of our selection tools, direct selection tool, to go in and move control handles. Now, there are some other things I want to point out as well along the way that'll help you. And then you're going to have to do this, where you have no control handles already assigned for you or anchor points, and you're going to create your own anchor points. Okay, now this is going to be a challenge, a big challenge. Okay, and quality, I can tell you what quality is going to look like as far as doing this well or not doing it well, and I'll point that out. Eventually, you're going to have to do this as a test. Okay, we're going up coloring these, but you're going to have to create these shapes. Okay, using the pen tool. Okay, to test your abilities and what you've learned with these worksheets. Okay, all right, so let's get into it. So number 4, I'm going to open Illustrator if you have to download that from Drive. Now with every time, it seems like every time you open one of these, you're going to go through the same process. You're going to have to lock this layer and make it a template. Okay, I'm just going to dim it and lock it so that you cannot work on this layer. If you turn in your work and it shows this, I'm going to deduct points. Okay, if you worked on top of that. Okay, what do I mean by that? If I unlock this, or let's say I undo where I make this a template and I work directly on top of this, and then I turn it in looking with all this too, I'm going to deduct points. Okay, and I'll explain further. Okay, so make sure you make this into a template. Double click on that layer, click on template, make it 50% dim, does it automatically. Can't work on this layer. You have the pen tool, has a little circle with a diagonal to it. You can't do anything. You can't work on it because this layer is now locked. You have to create a new layer for you to work on. Okay? Make sure you do say none on fill, and I'll explain that further later. You'll run into an incident, I'm sure, where you didn't do that and you're like confused. So I'm going to go to 2 on the point size just to make it thicker so we can see it. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to zoom in, Command plus. Remember, I can't zoom my fingers. I can't spread my fingers on the trackpad. So I'm going to click 1, drag to 2. Now I'm going to click 3 and drag to 4. Now this is where it gets tricky. If I go over to 6 and click 6 to 7, look what that gives me. Okay, so let me undo that. Let me just undo everything. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 to 2, 3 to 4. Now I've got to pull this down to here. Now, how do I do that? Real simple. If you hold down the Option key, this is what's going to happen to your pen tool. I'm pressing the Option key, and what that is, if I come over here to my pen tool and I click to show, it's a Convert Anchor Point tool. That's what that is, kind of that little pointy kind of shape. So if I come over here and I click on it and I grab that handlebar, I can now break it. See, it's now moving and this one isn't moving, okay? So half the handlebar is still controlling this side, and the handlebar I just moved over is going to control this side. So now if I go, well, I got disjointed there because I went clicked over there. So let's do this again. So I'm going to come to here. And I'm going to click on 6, go to 7, hit the Option key, click on it, break it, bring it down to 8, slide over, click on 9, drag to 10, Option key, grab it, break it, pull it down to 11, click on 12, pull to 13, Option key, break it, pull it down to 14, and just continue. Okay, and that's that. Now, of course, if we want to get surgical, to go and refine, I can go in and zoom in. And I want to show you, let me see if I can find one that's not so good. And they're all pretty good. Okay, let me just scroll over to this one. Okay, if I click on the A key, it's going to give me my direct selection tool. If I click on my V key, it's going to give me the selection tool which selects everything. Okay, if I click on A, it only selects directly on whatever I'm clicking on. If I click on the V key, and when I click on this, it selects everything. So, okay. So let me just go back to the V key. No, A key, sorry. And zoom back in. Let's say I just want to move this anchor point just a little bit. I can click on that. Whoops. With the V key. Nope, A key. Okay. And I have to click directly on the anchor, and then I can nudge it over. Whoops. Looks like I made another anchor point there. Okay. I think in my little clicking around, I kind of accidentally did some things. Okay, now. So even with my arrow keys, it's doing these drastic moves, right? I can try to grab it and just kind of be more gradual about it. Anyway, so let's back out. Come down to the next one. I'm going to press on the P key to get my pen tool. Click on 1, drag to 2, click on 3, drag to 4, click on the Option key, hold down on it, grab the handlebar, break it, bring it down to 5, because see how this dips down this way? So now I'm going to go zoom out a little bit. I'm going to go 6 to 7, break it, bring it down to 8, 9 to 10, break it, pull it down to 11, 12 to 13, break it, bring it down to 14, 15 to 16, break it. Oh, didn't need to break it. Never mind. Got into just remote, in routine there. Looks like everything looks precise except for right here. Y'all see that? Here's what I can do about that. Press the A key, click on this. It's going to show up the handlebars on that segment of that line. See how this handlebar isn't showing? Because when I clicked on this line, this path, it showed me the handlebar that controls this path, which is this one and this one. Okay, see how I'm off right there? I can grab that, pull it back up here, and that just fixed that. That's where I was off. Okay? So go around yours, see if you can find anything like that. See if you can refine it. Hone it in. Reveal your handlebars where they're at. Okay. All right. Now this is what I mean. If you turn this in looking just like that, where you see that worksheet like that, I'm going to count off. You need to be able to cut this off and turn it in just like this. Okay? And the way you do that, you go to File, Export, and it's automatically going to be a JPEG. You can rename it if you want to, and then turn that into your folder. Now, the reason we're doing it that way is we don't need to go back and rework anything like this. If you did want to rework this and didn't want to save as a JPEG, you want to save as an Illustrator file, I will show you how to do that, because at some point you will need to do that. Just go to File, Save As, and you'll see it has a .ai extension. .ai extension means it's an Illustrator file. So if I save this as an AI file, it's going to save these layers, and I could go back and rework this. Okay? All right. I'm not going to save this. You should have saved yours. I'm just going to close this. And let's open the next one. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to make this a template. I'm going to lock it and dim it. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to come over and I'm going to undo. I'm going to say none on the fill. I'm going to make it a stroke of 2. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm going to do something that's going to make you know why we undo this. I'm going to say give this a fill. Okay? And just watch what happens. Okay. So let me zoom in. Okay. Click the P key. I'm going to go 1 to 2. Then we'll go 3 to 4. Then we'll go 5 to 6. And then we'll go 7 to 8. And then we'll go 9 to 10. All right. Now notice how we lost our numbers in here. I can't see the numbers. I can't see my path, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. That's why we need to have no fill right now. Okay. So we can see what we're doing. All right. So we have a funky heart shape that doesn't look like a heart. Okay. We followed the directions. Why does it look this way? It's because they want us to do a couple of things. Okay. They want us to go in and break our handlebars and move them. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. If you just hold down the Option key, right, I'm going to take this 12, bring it up to 11, and I'm going to take this 6. Now earlier I was trying to click on this down here and couldn't click on it. You might have to zoom in really close sometimes to see where this stuff is at. So I can't see the handle to grab it, right? So if I go back to my A key and hit this, see how it revealed my control handle and where my handle is at? Okay, I know you can just barely see that. I wish they made it a little more visible, a little bit bigger word when they say handle like that. Okay, so now I'm going to hold the Option key. No, I got to hit the P key and then the Option key. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And we'll grab that, break it, pull it up to 13. Now, I can see I can do some work here. I did pretty good. I can see if I go back to my A key and click on this and see my anchors and everything, I'm just a bit off. And this is with the direct selection tool. And I can try to get everything as precise as I can. Why? Because I can. If it's not, if it's not bullseye, that accuracy is not. It's good. It's a heart shape. I'm just saying we can get it very. And what it is we're really trying to control these shapes. Okay, that's what Illustrator allows you to do. So I'm going to cut this off. Let me unselect that, and then I'm going to File, Export, and it's automatically JPEG when you export. You can change the name if you want to. It has a .jpg extension. I can see that in Canvas when you turn it in, and you're going to go to Export. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close that. Now, here comes the true challenge of everything. Okay. That we've done so far, and really apply without tracing. We don't have, no, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to make this our template. We're going to create a new layer. We're going to come over, say none on that, up the stroke. Now, it takes some guesswork and feeling around trying to make this work. Okay, you don't have places to put your handlebars. Okay, you got to figure out how to adjust your handlebars to make these paths. Now, you want to do this with the least amount of anchor points possible. If you make a lot of anchor points with a lot of control handles, it gets messy. It gets janky. I guess it gets really kind of a lot of surfaces. It's almost like as if you had a car, like a car fender, and it had dents in it, you just can't get it back to that original form almost. A body repair shop could try their best, but imagine this having slight sort of imperfections, and that's what sort of having a lot of anchor points would do. It would create a not so continuous path. The more continuous that path is, it probably means the least amount of anchor points you have. Okay? Anyway, you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to click the P key, and I'm going to click here. And since I don't really know the handle really on this right now, I'm just going to leave it like that. I could throw a handle, but I can always go back and add a handle. I'm getting ready to show you some things probably you haven't seen yet, introduce you to. But anyway, so I'm going to come up. I'm going to say, what if I could do it with a handle here and a handle here? Okay. So let me just go back and restart that. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to put a handle here, and then we'll come back and put a handle here. Okay, that's kind of a stretch, isn't it? Okay. I can go back and start working on this. I can always reattach and continue. So let me just try to see if I can sort this out. I'm going to click the A key, and I'm going to stretch, 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 push, push, tuck, pull in, stretch out this way, pull up, and it's just not functioning. I only have 2 anchor points, and I'm very close, but I just can't get it. Okay, so what do you do in this situation? Check this out. Okay, you have the ability to add anchor points. Okay, along a path. Okay, if you come over to the pen tool, click on it, you have the add anchor tool, and it's just the plus sign. Okay, I'm just going to come out here and we'll hit the plus sign. Well, let me do this. Oh, whoops. Hit the plus sign. See, it has a little plus on the pen tool now. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say right here, I think I need an anchor point somewhere along right through here. I'm going to click it right here on that path, and look what it did. It put an anchor point and it added control handles. Now, it's not in the right place. So I need to click the A key, click on that anchor point, and put it in the place I need it. Now watch this. Now I've got a handlebar here. I can pull in. This one now, maybe I can, whoops, I can now readjust this one to come back down here. And maybe I didn't put this in the right place. Maybe I should have put it over here. So let me grab that here. And now I'll try this. I think I was wrong. I think now I'm going to have to put it somewhere like over here. So let me try this. Alright, that's looking better there. Now let me try this one. Oop. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Okay, I cut that off, and look how smooth that looks. It's a little, gets jutted out just a little bit right there, gets a little flat right there. And sometimes, who knows, maybe another anchor point might be best. So let me just try another one. I feel like this one kind of needs to come in a little bit. Let me throw one right there. Now, you get really good at trying to figure out where to put your anchor points over time. Excuse me. Okay, that feels pretty good. All right, so now we're just going to continue. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more to go. But now that I've done that one, maybe, maybe I ended up doing like 1, 2, 3, 4 anchor points along that path. And I first started out with just 2. And I just kept having to add until it kind of worked out. But believe me, like, if I did 5, that'd probably be too many. Okay. All right. So I'm going to click the P key, come over here to this anchor point. Oh, don't want to mess that up. We'll click the Option key to pull that up this way because I know it's going to need to go that way. And I'm going to go ahead and now put a path or anchor point right here. And then I'm going to come down here and see if I can do it with just, now see, I was able to do it with 3 on that path. I'm going to click Option key, pull this around up this way, click the A key. Now I could continue and then come around and make all these adjustments rather than trying to adjust as I go. and just try to complete it and then come back, okay? And maybe I'll start doing some of that. Maybe I'll just kind of go ahead and get roughed in, and then I can go back and do these refinements, okay? So a couple of different approaches to it. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to see if maybe I can do this one with just 2 anchor points. Oops. I'll tell you what. I'm just going to continue. I'm just going to do, oops. I'm just going to do 2 anchor points on each one at the beginning and end, and just kind of get this roughed end, and then come back. Just to show you as an option of how you could work. I'm going to show you something. I really don't need this handle right now because this is about to go flat. Okay, I'm going to show you something. So if I do this, watch what happens. I'm going to come over here, and just like when we hold the Option key, you see that there's a quick command where we can get that. It's called the Convert Anchor Point tool. If you go Shift C, so if I go, I'm going to, okay. If I go Shift C, now I have that, and watch what happens when I click on this handle. Boom, it's gone. You can get rid of, I'm going to do Command Z, you can get rid of handles, okay, when you have this selected, rather than just pressing the Option key. Okay, now I'm going to continue. Hit the P key. I'm going to throw up a little bit of handle right there. Put a little curve on that. Hit Option key. Pull that around. Just going to, just like I said, I'm just going to go with like anchor point at the beginning and end for right now. I'll come back and make adjustments. I'm just roughing it in. Now I'm going to close this. So I'm looking to make that little circle right there so I know I'm closing it. I'm not sure if I actually closed it or not. Yeah, I did because it did that. Okay. I want to show you something. Let's just say I'm going to click the A key and I want to expose my path. See this red? See, I can't really see red on this too well. You can change the color of that. Okay, if I come up here and double click on this, see the color? I can change this to different colors. I'm going to say magenta. And see, now this is magenta. So if you're working on something where you can't see this well enough, you can go in and adjust that to have more contrast where you can see it better. Okay? All right. So I've got my direct selection tool. Now I'm going to start going in, seeing if I can control these paths and get them under control. That's the word control handle. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do this one with just 2 anchor points. So let me press the plus key, throw in an anchor point, press the A key, grab it, pull it over, start to adjust. All this for that one. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. All right. Don't think this is going to happen. Okay. 2 ain't gonna cut it. Close. Throwing an anchor point right there. Press the A key. Pull that over. Oops. As you can see, this can turn to be very time consuming. And this is what I'm talking about, kind of being like drafting. You're trying to just kind of have such control on these paths, you know? But when you're doing a logo or something, or some type of typography, and that's basically, you just have some simple shapes, you really need to make sure those shapes are pretty well defined. But we'll get this one too. I feel pretty good about that. All right, I can't see the handle do this. I will click on this path, dispose my handle, handles. Don't think this one's going to work with just 2. Yeah, I'm going to put a plus, pin an anchor, hit the A key, pull this out here. So I'm trying to grab that handle, but it's really hard. It's such a tiny, small place. I'm have to zoom in. Okay, now I'm gonna expose this one. It's right here. I can't see my handlebar. Right there it is. Okay. Don't think it's gonna work with just 2. Plus, put an anchor point, click the A key, move it. Okay, now do you see kind of why I went in and just kind of laid everything out to begin with? It's kind of speeding things up. Kind of gives it, get some progress going where you're really just now focused on these handles and these curves and not just clicking and placing anchors and then just focused on just one part. So it feels like you're staying focused to some part of the actions that you're creating. All right. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Ta-da! Only took, I don't know, what, like 15 minutes? Of course, I'm explaining and undoing and changing a lot of things, and you get quicker and quicker once you understand how this works. Believe me. Okay, let me just show you a bad one. Okay, one that has too many anchor points. So I'm just going to put an anchor point, or let me just, okay, let me do this. Undo that. I'm going to do, let's see. How can I undo a part? I haven't done this in quite a while. How can I cut it? There's a way to cut it. I haven't done that in such a long time. I want to say maybe using this, the slice tool. Anyway, let me just do this. Let me just say I'm going to create a new one, okay? All right, so let's just say I see students do this a lot of times. So create an anchor point. Oops. No, just do it. Anchor point, 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 and just do this. And say, oh, there you go. Did it. Right. That's not so good. Okay, so let's try this. Undo, 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 undo. So anchor point. Let's see. Oh, I need pen tool first. Okay. So stretch out handlebar, anchor point, 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 handlebar, anchor point, right? It's not as jagged as before, right? Like this. And I'm exaggerating things a little bit, but you can see how that has like little creases, like corners. This one is smooth, but it's also wobbly, okay? Versus how this looks. Okay. So this is why you want to have very few anchor points. Okay? It gets it smoother. Okay? Alright, so you're going to need to save this and turn this in, and you're done. Okay?